Hey there, welcome back to another episode of the Medcurity podcast. Today, we're talking about something small but powerful. It's not a new piece of software, it's not a checklist item, it's definitely not a one-time training, it's a simple habit. And it might be the most important one your team can develop to keep your data safe in 2025. Let's set the stage. Cyber attacks in healthcare are getting smarter, faster, and more frequent. And here's what makes that so frustrating. Most of the attacks don't rely on breaking through firewalls. They rely on a person making one quick mistake. Clicking a link, opening an attachment, responding to a message that they shouldn't have trusted. And that's why today's episode isn't about technology, it's about behavior. And it starts with this: pause before you click. The habit sounds almost too simple to matter, but that's the point. Security isn't just about the big moves, it's about the small, repeated actions that make your defenses stronger. And this habit, pausing before reacting, is a natural way to interrupt the pattern that attackers count on. So what exactly does this habit look like? Picture your inbox. It's a Tuesday, you're between back-to-back meetings, and a message comes through from what looks like your EHR vendor. We've detected a login attempt, please confirm your credentials to secure your account. You're distracted, trying to move fast, and your instinct is to click. But instead, you pause. You take a second and ask, was I expecting this? Does this email look slightly off? Why would my EHR vendor ask for my login in this way? Is the sender's address legit? That one moment of hesitation, that's where the habit lives. It's not dramatic, it's not complex, but it disrupts the pattern and it gives your brain time to kick in before your fingers click on that link. And here's what's important. This isn't about distrusting your tools or assuming every message is a threat. It's about verifying instead of assuming. It's about taking that 1 second to think before you act, because the bad guys are betting that you won't. Let's take this further. Why is this habit so critical for healthcare teams specifically? First, the stakes are higher. A phishing email that slips in through a retail company might expose customer emails or billing information. In healthcare, it can mean a ransomware attack that shuts down access to patient records, that delays surgeries, or compromises entire treatment plans. Now that's serious human risk where healthcare data is compromised. Second, healthcare environments are busy. Fast-paced workflows, lots of handoffs, and tight staffing levels all create the perfect conditions for human error. It's not about carelessness, it's about speed. And when speed becomes the norm, the ability to pause becomes a strength. Third, phishing tactics are evolving. We have AI now, and attackers are using it too to create emails that sound natural, that mimic internal communication, and even reference recent events. They're not relying on spelling mistakes or weird logos anymore. They're playing the long game, researching organization charts, using familiar names, and creating urgency. That's why a healthy skepticism and that simple pause are more important than ever. So how do you build this habit across a team and an organization? It's about culture. This isn't a one-off training video or a slide deck that's buried in an orientation. It's about ongoing reinforcement, making this habit part of how you talk about security in the day-to-day. Here are a few ways to start. Run phishing simulations regularly, not to catch people off guard, but to give them safe practice. Think of it like a fire drill, low stakes, high value. Talk about near misses. If someone catches a suspicious email and reports it, share the story. Use it as a learning moment. Normalize speaking up and asking questions. And use visual reminders. Posters in break rooms, short prompts on login screens, even email signatures that say pause before you click, verify before you act. Those small nudges add up. And lead by example. When leadership asks a clarifying question or forwards a sketchy looking message to IT, that sends a signal. We take this seriously. We take our time and we verify. And maybe most importantly, make it okay to ask. If someone isn't sure whether something is safe, they should feel supported, not embarrassed. The moment someone feels afraid to report something is the moment that the attackers get an advantage. Now let's talk about where this habit fits into the bigger picture. You might be thinking, that's great, but we've already got multi-factor authentication, we've got encryption and endpoint protection, and that's all good. Keep doing those things. But tools can only do so much. They're built to help, but they can't stop someone from clicking on a malicious link. Now that last line of defense is the human on the other end of the screen. We're not blaming users. In fact, it's the opposite. This is about empowering them, giving people permission to slow down, to ask, and to take security personally. You could even frame this habit as a daily mantra. If it feels off, stop and check. If you weren't expecting it, ask. If it's urgent, verify outside the message. One habit repeated over time can dramatically reduce your exposure to risk. When we think about cybersecurity, we often think about the big stuff. We think about network segmentation, vulnerability scans, incident response plans, all of that matters, but none of it will stop someone from clicking a malicious link in a believable email. That's where this habit becomes a vital layer of defense. And in a time where OCR settlements are becoming more frequent and more costly, it's not just about stopping threats, it's about proving that you have taken reasonable steps. Promoting secure behavior, documenting training efforts, and showing that you've built awareness into your culture, all of this supports your compliance story. It shows regulators, patients, and leadership that you're serious about data protection. Let's bring it back. One habit: pause before you click. It's small, but it matters. It gives your brain time to process. It disrupts the rhythm of urgency that attackers are counting on. And when practiced across a team, it becomes a powerful part of your security posture. If you haven't talked about this with your team recently, now's the time. Bring it up in a staff meeting, run a quick phishing test, post a reminder in the break room. Simple actions done regularly will build this habit into your culture. And if you're looking for support, Medcurity can help. We are all about helping you to stay compliant, stay secure, and stay ahead of the latest threats. Thanks for listening to the Medcurity podcast. We'll see you next time with more ways to keep your organization protected and your patient data secure.